even if you don't take it into your own hands, destiny has a plan for us all. As you make it outside, you can hear shouts, and you see some stray blaster bolts coming from in this village. Are you going to be the hero? Or are you going to let Morla do it?
I think Karp strikes a pose with the sword.
Now's not the time for posing.
Well, it's not. It's one of those action movie poses where it's her just freeze-framed in the middle of an action, drawing her sword, but it's just in slow-mo, looking super heroic. Because, let's be real, Karp is not going to yield the stage.
It's true.
Yeah. I hold my sword in one hand. I draw it out in that slow-mo. Gotten very good at that from my YouTube practice sessions. And let it be established that I have been looking up a lot on YouTube. So I have amassed a wealth of knowledge from the best of the HoloNet's teachers.
Anonymous has also given you one lesson.
Oh, yeah. Cool. But it was a long lesson. Like,
Okay.
like a 6-hour lesson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it enough for you to have one rank?
I would say so.
Yeah. You have one rank.
Oh.
That's where you got
Would
it.
it be enough for me to have another rank? Okay.
Especially because that rank was free.
Okay.
Spending any XP.
I drop my other hand to the butt of my blaster, but I don't draw the blaster yet. So you can't knock me for like double fisting calamity because I'm only holding one weapon at the moment.
True. As you strike that pose, you hear the familiar chirps of those green animals. And from around the back of this house, Morla's mom comes and rides right up next to you and reaches a hand down towards you.
Well, with the free hand, I guess I take the proffered hand and swing up in the saddle behind her.
And shortly after, her dad comes
And
with
wait,
the second
no.
one.
It rears up. We both keep our seats, but it looks really cool for a moment.
Mm-hmm. Morla gets on the back of her dad's, and the four of you make your way towards the town. As you get there, you see that the burning is coming from that building in the center, that almost Jedi-like temple
Aww.
is on fire. The skeletal shapes of droids are illuminated against it. There are quite a few of them, at least 8 right here that you can see. You can hear shouts from beyond this area too. I think you're gonna have to fight some droids.
I usually do.
I think it's time to roll initiative.
When was the last time I met a droid whose head I didn't try to take off?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm starting to develop a prejudice.
Yeah? I mean, that's Nikki with the prejudice. We already know that Karp had one.
Let's see. What am I rolling again?
You are rolling your cool
My cool.
with no difficulty dice.
Hey, a little bit.
1 success, 3 advantages.
Wait, can I charge into battle with my sword held over my head?
We'll see.
And I feel like I've seen a statue of this somewhere.
Okay.
And Mark's doing all of these secret things he knows I don't understand. And then I just have to
Don't
accept
worry about
whatever he tells me the results are.
Don't worry about it. So the droids see these immediate threats, 3-4 people, large beasts, and they're going first.
Mm-mm. I'm still ready shotgun on this lizard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow, they rolled a threat. So as the group of you appear around this corner on these 2 giant lizards, blaster bolts just go left and right by your ears, missing everybody.
I go, yeah, and kick my heels into the lizard, and it rears up, and so I have the advantage of the high ground, sort of, and I draw my blaster.
Oh, so you're drawing your blaster.
I am drawing the
maneuver.
blaster.
Yeah, okay.
And I aim it at the nearest silhouette and fire.
Okay. So this lizard's moving towards these...
Wait, so is it... Okay, just so I have the picture clear in my head. Is the...
You're in this square.
Is the threat the lizard or is somebody on the lizard? Or no, the droids. The droids are the only ones attacking, right? No one else is riding a lizard? Okay.
No, it's just you on the lizards.
The droids are not riding lizards?
No.
Okay.
The lizards are going...
Okay. Yeah, so no, the lizard rears up, and you said they're about like 10 to 15 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I've got a pretty good height advantage from which I can get a clear blaster shot. And this is my good gun, remember? This is my Snoopy special.
Yeah, that still unfortunately only does stun damage, but still does 8 stun damage instead of 3. Okay, roll it.
What does stun do to a droid, though?
Same as it does to anyone else. Deal strain.
All right, what do I roll?
You roll your ranged light. There it is.
2 yellow and a green.
Pretty good. It's against 2 purples.
Don't I get a boost since I have the height advantage? I feel like that's specifically why I did that move.
I'll allow it since
Okay.
it's Star Wars. And the high ground counts for something here.
Yeah, see, in like medieval battles, they would train their horses to rear up.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that's a positional advantage.
Why are you rolling them one at a time?
Because I'm superstitious.
I don't think they roll any better.
Well, maybe. Mark's
Mark's
not happy.
Had you not been using the box, that would have been another triumph. Okay, so that's 1 success, 1 advantage, and 1 triumph.
Yeah.
Okay.
I blast the heck out of that droid.
So...
I bullseye him. Right in what I imagine is a little red glowing eye.
Okay, let's see.
Karp. Okay, Mark's being quiet, so I'm just going to describe some more. Karp looks like the very picture of legend. You know how the triumph symbol looks on those yellow die? That just beacon of pure force radiating through a moment. That's Karp astride this giant lizard with the sword in one hand and the blaster in the other, bullseyeing a droid from across the way. It's heroic as crap, and you know it.
So your KO2 heavy stun pistol does stun damage and cannot do a crit. So I had a
triumph.
You had a success, a triumph, and an advantage.
Yes.
So you did take 1 out. So what do? You brandish this weapon and aimed it straight at the glowing red eye of one of these things.
Yes.
The little blue rings shoot out of it and hit this thing right in the face.
And I like to think that being a droid with an electric system that does not respond the same way as organic nerve firing to a stun bolt would react quite a bit more violently to being shot by a stun beam.
You see the little jolts of electricity down from its head to its limbs, and it just sort of shakes.
It's like a sort of
collapses.
EMP, violent EMP, yeah.
So you have a triumph. Your weapon can't crit, so you can't kill another one. But what do you do with it?
Can I shoot a couple in succession?
No.
What can I do with it?
You had your action. You can add something great to the scene.
I already did. I described Karp on Lizardback.
You can add something that you could use later. You could add reinforcements.
Okay. Villagers pour out into the open. They've been since they've been expecting this and on the hunt for this sword. They're ready. They've got their, I don't know, pitchforks.
Uh-huh.
What have they got?
Oh, they've totally got pitchforks.
Okay.
They're being led by Eamon.
Oh crap.
The skeptical.
No, can Morla lead them?
No, she's on the back of her dad's Fractal right now, and she's gonna roll next.
Okay.
All right, Morla jumps off the back of the Fractal with her sword arcing over her head and lops the head off one of these droids. It goes.
Wait, so she has a sword. It's just not the sword.
It's not the sword that you're carrying. Yeah.
I'm a little confused why a town with a smithy has not just been turning out more swords like this.
Because that is the sword of legend. That is the sword that
the master sword
that the knight held.
But I'm just saying they can, really improve their sword to pitchfork ratio.
They could.
But they haven't.
They haven't.
Okay.
Some people have swords. You would assume, thinking about it,
I mean, pitchforks are pretty handy. They're just not as durable.
Morla told you about these other bands of people who went up to the surface, and those were probably, a good number of those were probably people like Morla, people who could use a sword along with their assistants, their squires.
Right.
It is back around
this little feudal town in the middle of Coruscant.
It's back around the droids, and there's only one left in this group. Oh, they hit though. The final droid in this group raises its blaster towards Morla and squeezes the trigger. You notice that with these droids, the blaster is actually built into their hand. These are droids that were made for war.
But they don't get setbacks for double fisting weapons, do they?
They only have a blaster, and it's built into their hand.
Just one hand or both?
Just one.
Okay.
This droid raises its blaster at Morla and shoots off a quick succession of shots. And you can see that they hit Morla, and you hear the ring of blaster on metal.
Oh, is she wearing a suit of armor?
She's got some sort of plate under her clothes, and where it hit, it looks like it hit the joint between her arm and shoulder, and she rocks back a little bit as some of the blast gets through.
Well, now I want a suit of armor. Let's make that happen in another episode. Well, by now, this has all happened in just a matter of seconds, but
yeah,
my lizard has sort of fallen back to all fours, and I take aim at...
You do have things like leadership, too, if you want.
Oh.
You're actually good at that.
Okay. Can I roll leadership and create a rallying cry that overwhelms the droids in a wave of spirit churned up by my heroic example?
Yeah.
Cool. Leadership.
Leadership is in your social skills, which are their
Karp
own.
has so few of those.
Yeah.
2 yellow and a green.
She's good at all the social skills, though.
She just chooses not to use them.
2 purples. And you can have a
Shouldn't I get a boost for being the chosen one?
I don't think the people of the town know who the chosen one is.
But they know what the Sword of Destiny is, right? And they see a Mon Calamari wielding the Sword of Destiny on lizard back,
you can have a
facing
boost
against a horde of droids.
You can have a boost for your sword.
All right. This is Mark's favorite things when I do this.
Just roll them individually. Crap. Oh. Darn. There's more. But wait. That is 1 success, 3 advantages.
So, I mean, there's like a good title, or there's like I'm riding a good wave of leadership
Do you
in
want,
the moment.
Yeah. You want to tell me how the people of this town take out the last few droids in this open square right now?
So we're in an open square. How many droids are there now?
There's 1 left in the group that you were fighting, and then there are maybe 4 or 5 additionally.
So it's actually they're droids, and there's only a handful of them in the square, but it's kind of disturbing the savagery with which the villagers set upon them.
Yeah. Because
they clearly have not had a lot of training in, martial skills. They haven't had Karp's experience with the HoloNet and 1 6-hour lesson with Amonis. And they just sort of fall upon these droids like a pack of not savage, but they've got pitchforks. Mm-hmm. So all they can do is stab. Mm-hmm. And they just stab and they stab and they hack and they whittle and
wild bear sloths.
Yeah. Like a pack of relts.
You see the smith come out of his smithy.
Oh yeah. He's big tall guy. He's got the leather apron. He's got
the aqualish with the bulbous things on his face.
He's got the big leather cape. He's got
like a hammer. Yeah.
Love it.
You hear him. Oh!
He hears a war cry.
And they just dismantle these droids.
Yeah.
Pieces of them scattered across this square. You still see the blaster bolts shooting from other spots in town, and off in the vast distance you spot, because it's just like maybe early evening, there's still a little bit of light coming from those giant panels in the ceiling. You spot on the opposite wall this dark dark shape climbing up the wall. It's like darkness itself has escaped from somewhere, and you hear a sinister laugh.
Now I'm trying to decide whether Karp is a maniacal laugher in the heat of the moment, because I kind of am. I feel like this would be one of those places where I would be sort of hysterically laughing without reason. And I'm trying to decide if Karp's like that.
So,
if this is bringing out that side of her.
The small town that you know as the Vale, is burning around you. Blaster shots are flying up into the sky from fights happening on adjacent streets. Karp and Morla and some other townspeople, being led by Morla's number 2, Eamon, have taken down a bunch of droids that were attacking this part of the town.
Then yes, Karp is laughing like a nutcase.
Karp, silhouetted with the fire of, of the town hall / temple in the center of this village, laughing maniacally.
Yeah, perfect.
Her laugh is echoed by a dark, sinister laugh off in the distance. You can see the rising shadow of something. And Morla says, above the sounds of battle, "Darth Oscurus has returned. People of the Vale, follow me into battle." Her Vractal rears and takes off down the street with a group of villagers running after it, being quickly outpaced by the animal.
So I'm on the Vractal with her mom still, right? Mm-hmm. Am I in control of what's going on, or is Marla's mom / the Vractal in charge of what's happening at this point?
Morla's mom is in charge, but if I had a dark side point, I would flip it. Morla's mom hops off the Vractal and asks, "Can you ride? I'm going to stay here and see what I can do about the fire."
I can ride. I will ride. Throbbing with the intensity of the moment.
I need you to roll.
What am I rolling?
You are rolling piloting planetary. Which you have because you've got a little speeder thing.
So what kind of vehicle am I rolling to, or am I rolling how well I ride the Vractal by myself?
Yeah, a little green bird dinosaur. Yeah, that's what
my
it is.
piloting expertise will sure come in handy here.
It's going to be against a purple with a setback because of the fire and chaos happening around you.
Okay. Is it a mild success? Or, wait, what's this one again?
That's a threat.
And that's an advantage.
And they cancel each other out.
So I just have a success.
Yep.
Cool. Wow, I'm just so great at all this stuff I've never done before.
Mm-hmm. So what does it look like when Karp takes off riding this beast, following Morla and the villagers?
So I feel like I'm going to have to put my blast...
You've got your sword in one hand and your blaster in the other.
You know, I don't know if that Karp's immediate success at riding this giant lizard translates to being able to do so without holding reins. I don't like gripping with the knees. Are my little feet in stirrups? Do I have some measure of stability?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna stick with it for now. I
would have made that check a lot harder if you were told me you're not holding onto the reins.
I'm glad all of my thoughts are after the fact. And so I've got the blaster in one hand and the sword in another. And I am just, my advantage, or my success can be that I can steer with just my leggies, right?
Your success is that you don't fall off.
Great. I'll take that. That's better than I thought I was going to roll in the first place, so.
Karp and her Vractal chase after Morla and hers, and you eventually catch up to her. The two beasts and their riders make their way down this raised road, sort of like the one that you came into this place on. As you get further down, you see more and more of those droids are heading towards the village. As Morla and her Vractal get close to those droids, the Vractal takes off into the air and leaps over this little line of droids.
Yes.
And she swings her sword down and one of their heads flies right off.
Ooh, yeah, I'll take it. Now, you have to remember that I've got one less enemy now. Because you set that up.
What does Karp do as her Varactyl?
Oh, wait, yeah, that was Morla you were describing?
Yeah.
Ah, darn.
What does Karp do as her Varactyl approaches this line of droids?
I take the head off one with my sword and take the head off another with my blaster.
Let's get another roll.
For such a moment, I may flip the point.
It's the same skill, so you're rolling the same yellow and green.
Okay.
You don't have the setback this time, but since you are not holding onto the reins...
Are you allowed to discriminate for a circumstance that you didn't discriminate for before?
Well, now it's definitely happening because you described what you want to try to do.
Okay. Is that you trying to make me roll a red die?
No, you're going to roll 3 purples.
Oh, okay. Do I get any boosts for the wild adrenaline of the moment?
No.
I shall bequeath you one. Wait, what does the light side point get me?
It changes your green into a yellow. You get a chance at getting 2 triumphs instead of 1.
I feel like flipping a light side point should get me more.
You can introduce something into the narrative, the light side point.
No, I'm saying one light side point does not stretch enough.
Yeah, it does.
All right. I'll flip one light side point.
There's much higher probability of success on a yellow than on a green.
See, I did it. Listeners, dear listeners.
Finally.
My donation was not... Well, it was never going to be in vain because it was always going to work out better for me anyway.
Over 2.5 hours into the session.
Yeah. See, my problem is that every time I flip a light side point, I get absolutely nothing out of it. Cool.
You got...
Everything cancels out.
3 advantages.
Is not falling off an advantage?
Not falling off can be an advantage.
See, that was absolutely bogus thing to waste a light side point for. This is why I don't flip light side points. The risk to reward ratio never works out in my favor.
Yeah, it does. Just not this time.
Okay. So all my advantages are... At what point does something cross from an advantage to a triumph? How successful can I be at something without it being a success?
You didn't do the thing that you wanted to do. And
Which was... Oh, I couldn't...
Which was ride through this group.
Wait, so I didn't lob the head off of one and shoot the head off another?
You didn't ride through the group and take a bunch of them out as you do so. So I'm going to say with the failure, you get to this group of things and they've closed ranks a little bit and block your way.
Wait, I have advantages.
Yes, you have advantages.
Why do all of my advantages sound like failures?
Well, that is because you rolled a failure.
I rolled a cancel.
You rolled, 5 failures on that check?
We're really getting back into your glass half empty mentality here.
Well, I'm just looking at what the dice say. So these droids block your path. You have 3 advantages. What would you like to use them for?
None of them hit me.
Yet.
None of them hit my Bractyl.
Yet.
And I clear them. I clear my Bractyl, makes a mighty leap. Too much of a success.
We can use them to let the Varactyl roll.
Okay. Wait, does the Bractyl have my setbacks? Or does the Bractyl have its own character sheet?
Varactyl's got its own stats.
All right.
So we're using your 3 advantages so that this Varactyl can roll.
Do my 3 advantages get better die for the...
Varactyl's got better dice than you.
Honestly, it's because I've set it up that way. I don't want Karp getting... She's getting too good at too many things already.
The Varactyl rolled 4 successes and 1 threat. Karp and her Varactyl, did you name the Varactyl? I'm surprised.
I assumed that Morla had named the Bractyl.
They didn't tell you the name.
Okay, so I just have to come up with a short-term name in my head. It's a lizard. Flappy Bit on Basilisk, thinking that the flappy bit of skin had a name, but apparently it doesn't.
Like a waddle?
The waddle? Okay, a waddle. But W-A-T-T-L-E.
Waddle.
Yeah. Waddle the Bractyl.
Karp and Waddle run along this raised platform, and as they get close to these droids, the droids start to close up ranks and block the path and box them in. Karp has ridden probably some animal back on her homeworld that she
rode a porpoise.
That she vaguely knows how to handle an animal, but in this situation it doesn't quite work out, and the Varactyl takes over. And
Does the Vractal know better?
no better than to trust Karp?
No, does she just make decisions in the moment? The Vractal's a she now. Does she make decisions in the moment that Karp would not know to make?
Waddle's going to make a decision.
Are they both better off for Waddle being in charge? Okay.
So as these droids close ranks, Waddle moves towards the edge of this raised walkway. And with Waddle's threat, I think Karp needs to roll a fear check as her beast goes over the edge.
Is Karp smart enough to be scared? What's a fear check?
Cool or discipline?
Cool. 1 yellow, 2 green.
That's pretty good. Against 2 purples.
Okay.
Waddle leaps off the edge of...
Yes!
Okay. That is 3 success, 1 threat, and a triumph.
That's 2 success.
Triumph is also a success.
Wait, so I get a triumph in addition to a success? 3 successes? An extra success?
Mm-hmm.
X success?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the Vractal leaps off the edge and spreads these little flappy things on its sides and begins to glide.
What does it fly?
It glides like a flying squirrel. And it just glides
You're great.
out into the air.
No, see, this is actually a lot closer to writing the porpoises on my home planet.
So it glides out into the air and shifts its body weight so it travels back onto this raised platform behind all the droids.
Like a kite.
Like a kite. And Karp keeps her cool, but has to put the blaster away.
Okay.
Because this is a wild ride.
I'll accept that for my Kodak moment.
Yeah, we've got 2 threats.
That's worth
here,
my Kodak moment. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a hand on the reins. What's your triumph?
I thought, I get an extra triumph on top of that.
That was the Vractal's success.
Oh, okay.
And then on your fear check, you are not afraid.
So can I just, all right. What I do is I've still got my sword out. I lob the heads off of like 5 droids in immediate succession, like it's an assembly line at a factory. So the way they came into the world is how they leave it. I just dispatch all of them.
I don't think you dispatched them. Not for 1 triumph. They're still walking around. They just don't have heads.
I really feel like I've been misled as to how effective triumphs and successes are in this game.
So if you were in combat, when these guys are minions, your triumph could take out 1 of them without doing any other damage.
Okay. So I guess I take out 1 of them.
I mean, you can take heads off multiples.
Oh,
they're just still going to walk around.
So I glide in like an avenging hero and whack the heads off a bunch of droids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Vractal Waddle comes into a landing.
Oh, what if we named her something different?
On the opposite side of the droids. You can still see Morla a few hundred feet ahead of you. And a few hundred feet ahead of her, there's this rising wall of black smoke.
Wait, so am I looking in the direction from which I had just come?
No, you're looking towards the far wall of this underground area.
So I've still maintained a direct trajectory
Yep.
toward this.
Mm-hmm. You're still going in the same direction.
Non-Karp maniacal laughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
This alternate, maniacal laughter.
Is this going to be like when you look across the abyss at the edge of the universe and you see your opposite? This is Karp's alter ego.
Karp is it?
My Karp is it, yes.
As you go, you see Morla ride into the smoke and disappear. Does Karp do it?
Well, she's flying high on her success, I guess, so I guess I'll do the counterintuitive thing, which is me thinking out loud. Karp loses no enthusiasm as she plunges into the smoke.
Mm-hmm. As she plunges into the smoke, it is pure darkness. You can't see a foot ahead of you. You can hear the chirps of Morla's Vractal somewhere up ahead. You can still feel Waddle below you, but you just cannot see anything. And Waddle begins to slow down as she can't see the ground below her feet.
Well, she's a lizard, right? Don't they have keen senses of smell?
Yeah, but this is weird.
It dulls all the senses.
Yeah, you can't really. The sound is muffled. There's only blackness and the smells of growing seaweed and the town and carbon scoring and all of that. She's just gone. You hear Morla yell something vague. You can't really tell what she's yelling. sounds like she's just talking to somebody. What's Karp's approach here?
Well, dumb Karp would stick her sword out and just poke whoever came within reach. But sharp Karp will not stick anyone with the sharp end of her sword. So, does my sword do anything special, or is it really just a sword? Does it emit any kind of light?
I mean, as far as you know, it's just a sword. It's not a lightsaber.
Okay. Oh, one of those would finally come in handy. I do slow down. I mean, obviously my waddle has slowed to a waddle, and nothing's really attacking me yet, right? I don't have any...
No, you can hear the muffled sounds of Morla up ahead, but that's all you've
I kind of just move vaguely in her direction and prompt waddled to a canter.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Coruscant Nights. Coruscant Nights is a production of Nightcast Creative. To find out more about us and our projects, visit nightcastcreative.com. Thanks to Nikki for playing on these episodes. For more of Nikki, check out the Other Place podcast or visit nikkismetters.com.